Hi everyone, and welcome to another follow-along session. Today's topic is going to be slightly different than usual, and we're going to use the floor. You don't need to have that much space, some space required, but not a lot. I'm not going to use any yoga mat, and the softer the floor, the less friction you have, the better. Also, if you can be barefoot, even better. If you have some longer sleeves, longer trousers, it might also be useful to move with ease on the floor. So in comparison to some other sessions, we're gonna start lying on the floor. So let us begin. So we're gonna start in this lying position. Arms relaxed, legs relaxed. Eyes closed if possible. Bring the awareness into your body and notice how you feel. Notice your breath. Notice the qualities of your breath. Notice any residual tension that you might be having in your body, in your center, or perhaps your limbs. If possible, just try to visualize all that tension simply melting away into the floor. With each exhale. Think about your limbs being very light, light as feather on the floor. Notice the points of contact between your body and the floor. Are you aware of every single point? Or are there any areas that you struggle to sort of visualize and notice? Maybe there's going to be some areas like the weight of your head, pressure to the bony protrusions into your floor. You might notice them a little bit more than the others. Keep coming back to your breath and the feeling of lightness on the floor. Give yourself a smile. And then in your own time, you're going to do 3 times deep, long inhalation in through your nose. There you go. And again. One more time. Beautiful. Allow your eyes to softly open. And then gently, very gently, you're gonna bend your knees And then you're gonna bring your knees up, away of the floor. Arms can stay in any position that you might feel comfortable. Eyes can open if you wish. So what we're gonna start now with is just a simple motion and movements of your pelvis. So if you wish, you can gently place your fingers, your hands on the edges of your pelvis, and then just start to notice all the subtle movements that you're gonna start doing. So maybe there's gonna be a little bit of side flexion, so lifting one side of the pelvis and lowering the other one. You can do it very softly, very gently, no rush, keeping it fairly linear for now. Maybe pausing in one position, pausing in the other one. Notice where you feel the stretch. Maybe it's just your pelvis, maybe it's lower back, maybe it's somewhere else. Keep it very subtle and easy. And then from there, we can start moving pelvis up and down. So tucking in your tailbone or arching first, and then other way around. So pressing your lower back into the floor. Arching, pressing into the floor. If your bum lifts gently off the floor, that's fine. Remember, keep it easy. If you're fairly comfortable with this, you don't even need to use your hands. Your fingers and your hands can help you with a little bit of tactile feedback and awareness, but you don't necessarily need to have them there. Beautiful. So we went sideways, we went up and down, and now we're going to try to find connections in between. So any motions in between, or perhaps, let's better say, connecting these two patterns from earlier. So we're doing gentle rotation. If this feels a little bit strange and alien, you might want to use your hands on the edges of your pelvis, just to notice how far can you move your pelvis in each position, in each direction. If it feels okay, move your hands away and continue. Try not to do anything too dynamic and too intense. Keep it light for now. And again, you can always pause in certain more awkward position if you wish. But the idea behind this is we just want to bring some awareness into these very subtle motions rather than working on very high intensity. Beautiful. And last few reps, last few attempts, very softly. And come to a stop. Lovely. So make sure you have some space sideways. Now as you're going to extend, straighten your arms on the side. And we're going to start with our next task. Okay, so after getting in this position, you're going to gently start first with just dropping your knees. Maybe that's the wrong choice of words. Just gently allowing your knees to go from side to side. Notice the gentle twist in your hips and your spine. Keep it relaxed, just a few times. Keep coming back to your breath. Lovely. So that's the first task. Next task, as you gently go towards one side, in this case my knees are going to the left side, I'm going to straighten one leg and then I'm going to come back. And then again, as I'm going to the right, I'm going to straighten my left leg, coming back in the middle. Keeping my feet non-stop on the floor. So bending the knees to the left, straightening my right leg, coming back in the middle, bringing my knees down to the right, straightening my left leg. One more time each side. Knees up, knees down to the left, right leg extending, Coming back in the middle, knees to the right, left leg extended. So you can kind of see where this is going. So as we're going to the left now, think about straightening your right leg, keeping your shoulders on the floor if possible, and now drive your foot, your right foot, as much as you can, as close as you can towards your left hand. It doesn't matter if you can't reach. Keep the opposite shoulder on the floor. And then draw this half circle, a quarter of a circle back to the middle. And then again, same thing other side. Keep it very easy and light for now. If you have smooth floor, it really can help. What you don't want to do, if possible, try not to lift the leg up in the air. Although if you lack flexibility, you might need to keep one leg over the floor. So as you're getting more and more hopefully comfortable, start finding a little bit more ease and fluidity, maybe even a little bit of speed. So opposite leg towards opposite hand. I don't want to use too much effort here, so keep it very light. Notice your breath. Keep going. Keeping your arms in the same position. Searching for that ease. One more time each side. And come to a stop. Beautiful. So now we were focusing on our legs going from side to side while being on the floor. Next task, we're going to focus on our arms, on our upper body. So I'm going to slightly adjust my position so you can see. So as I'm lying on the floor, I'm simply going to turn towards my left side, just so everybody's on the same page. So I'm going to straighten my left arm. If you need a yoga block or something or cushion underneath your head, be free to use that. What I'm going to do here, I'm going to try to with opposite arm. So if I'm lying on my left side, my opposite index finger, I'm going to touch the floor, straighten the arm. And also, forgot to mention, if you struggle with mobility in your hips and knees, be free to put something underneath your outside of your knee or in between your legs. So here, get comfortable as the focus is on the upper body. So here, I'm going to start gently drawing a big circle or as wide as I can go with my opposite arm, reaching towards the other side, and then coming back. So I'm going to show you for a couple of angles. So as I'm here, going around, slowly. Maybe you're gonna be able to go all the way. Maybe you're gonna need a few reps, a few adjustments. So at some point, you wanna try to keep your both shoulders as close as you can to the floor or on the floor. So keep sticking to one arm for now, while keeping your knees bent and legs on one side, in this case left side. And as with the previous drill, if this is starting to feel more and more comfortable, start adding some speed. Notice the motion, the rotation, the stretch in your thoracic spine, maybe even in your lower back. Last to this side. And change. So same thing other side. So simply transition on the one side, arm straight, put something underneath your head if you must, and start drawing a big circle with the other arm. Start slowly always. Especially if you're not familiar with the pattern. Notice any subtle differences or maybe big differences between both sides. Keeping that index finger or hand in contact with the floor. So add some speed to it if it feels okay. Where's the 3 more? The last one. Beautiful. Love it. So, we're still gonna stay on the floor. We're gonna change slightly what we're doing. So, our legs are gonna sort of revisit the similar pattern to the very first drill, as your knees were bent and going from side to side. And now upper back, upper body, you want to extend your arms and keep both hands on the floor. As you're going to travel from side back to the middle, other side. So the main intention here, I'm going to try to explain it the best way I can. So try to anchor your feet into the floor, but you are also allowed to put the pressure on the outsides of your feet and the insides of your feet, but your feet are going to sort of stay in the same position. As you do this, you think about side compression and side bending. As you twist towards left side, I'm sort of pushing my hips to the right side, sort of piking my hips gently, and simultaneously trying to go as close as I can towards my knees. So it's going to look something like this. As my knees goes to the side, I'm compressing, piking my hip. Let's say elbow, left elbow towards the left knee. Back to the middle. Other side. Elbow to the knee. It's almost like I want to push through my legs, straighten my legs, and piking my hips. So if you struggle, try to observe. I'm going to show you from 1 or 2 angles. So for now, always pause in the middle. Keep it relaxed. Notice my arms just floating. I'm doing from this angle. One side, other side. If you struggle to straighten your legs, that's fine. So you can keep it fairly bent. So one more time from this side. Keeping your limbs on the floor. Keeping your feet, keeping your arms on the floor as much as you can. Hopefully you started getting a hang of this pattern. So what we're going to do now, we're just going to continue and without stopping in the middle. So we're going to try to find even more ease of motion. If you struggle, simply keep it still, keep it fairly small. Go one side, perhaps back in the middle, other side. Okay, prepare. Let's give it a go. Trying to find more smoothness, if it's okay. Obviously, it's going to depend on the textures, fabric of your clothes, and the friction. Think about it as sort of gentle floor massage, trying to be as loose and as weightless as possible. I have clear anchors, which are my heels, on the outsides of my feet. I'm using the floor to push and pull the rest of my body. Let's do one more time each side. And come to a stop. So from this position now, we're simply going to go on one of our sides, let's say left side. You're going to push yourself up in this seated position. If possible, let's try to go into cross-leg position. Depending on your mobility, you might want to use something to sit on, or you're going to sit on the floor, okay? So here, what we're going to do first, keeping my arms relaxed. So think about softly while keeping your sitting bones on the floor. I'm reaching with my forehead one of my knees, or going as close as I can, up, and then other side, as close as I can. So inhaling on the way up, exhaling on your way down. Keep it light, keep it slow. Keep your arms relaxed. Your arms are on the floor, but I'm not doing too much of pushing into the floor. Maybe you're gonna reach your knee with your forehead, maybe with your nose. Just keep it relaxed. Notice the gentle stretch on your sides, lats, maybe obliques. Let's do one more time each side. And come to a stop. Beautiful. So now if possible, as you're keeping your legs in the same position, try when you're sitting bones where they are. Try to gently reach with your hands as far as you can forward. Softly, softly, softly. As you get to sort of your end range, just focus on your breath, relax, exhale. Try to find relaxation in this position. Head relaxed, neck relaxed. And then slowly go back. And we're going to repeat this one more time. So slowly, either helping yourself with your floor or just sliding. Pausing. And gently coming back. Beautiful. So while we're in this position, if you want to readjust, maybe changing the legs, changing the alignment a little bit, that's fine. As we're in this position, we want to focus on keeping our sitting bones on the floor. It doesn't matter your legs, even if you go in the middle straddle, that's fine. I would say keep it fairly cross, keep it small and contained. As we have sort of limitation now, we're going to revisit our head leading spinal wave first. So for those of you, if you can't remember, or even if you remember, or even if you never did it before, think about this. Tucking my chin to the chest, I'm rounding my upper back, I'm sinking down, drawing a circle with my nose, moving my head back while keeping my sitting bones on the floor. That's my limitation. So think about this. Almost like a Chinese dragon or a snake. I'm lowering my head down, going as close as I can to the floor without lifting my sitting bone too much. They might lift a little bit. And then continuing drawing this big circle. Try to keep your arms relaxed. They're there just as a support, but I'm not putting too much weight into my arms. So how far can you go with your nose in each direction, forwards and backwards? We're playing with a little bit of limitation, which is our pelvis, my hips staying on the floor. But there's that slight weight shift that's also happening there, which is necessary. Try not to lose balance as you go back. You might experience slight loss of balance in that weight shift, but that's fine. Let's do one more. The last one. And come to a stop. Beautiful. Now we're going to revisit going sideways. For some people you might find it a little bit easier. So again, if you need to readjust slightly your position, that's fine. So while keeping our sitting bones on the floor, or maybe hands for this one slightly on the floor, just as a sort of extra support as you go from side to side, be free to do so. So think about nose now. I'm going as far as I can towards one side. My head is being super heavy. It's kind of leading me this one direction. I'm experiencing the weight shift. My pelvis is slightly, hips are lifting up on the opposite side. But then when I'm at the end range, I'm turning back. Again, moving the head first. Same thing other side. One side, other side. One side, other side. If you're tensing a bit too much or if it's too hard, just think about also your jaw. Always good idea to maybe even open your mouth, just relaxing, as it can help with sort of reducing the general tension. Keep going from side to side. Leading as far as you can with each one, as far as your limitations, in this case hips and your pelvis, allow. Notice my hands are super soft on the floor. They're just there as an extra stability. I'm not pushing too much. Just a few more times each side. If you're anything like me, when you're doing motions, these kind of motions with your neck, you're gonna notice all those little tiny cracking sounds, which are perfectly fine as long as there's no pain or excessive discomfort. One more time each side. The last one. Beautiful. And come to a stop. So from here, we're just gonna gently change our position. So we're gonna go on our knees. So you're gonna go on all fours, but keeping the knees for now on the floor. Okay? So noticing first the weight shift in our hands. So what you can do, just gently, perhaps add a gentle pivot on your hands. So think about pivoting with your shoulders above your hands, going in a gentle circle. Let's say 3 to 4 reps each side, just to kind of adjust, to bring the awareness into our hands, then change direction, to notice this weight shift, especially as we're going to start to put a bit more pressure now. Nice. Beautiful. So now the next one. So as lots of you are fairly probably familiar with basic cat-cow transition, what we're going to do now, you're going to tuck your toes, and as you tuck your chin to the chest and round, you're going to simultaneously and gradually lift your knees up, and think about opening your shoulders, straightening your knees as much as you can, driving your head towards your knees as much as you can. If you go with your heels to the floor, that's fine. If you lack mobility, you can even bend your knees, that's fine. Pausing for a second, and then as you go down, you're going to simultaneously lift your head up and then gradually arch as much as you can. As you go with your knees down to the floor, arch, and then transition again. Tuck your chin to the chest, start rounding, and then lifting your knees up. Try to also Connect it with your breath. Arching, rounding. So as we're rounding, we're lifting the hips up, driving back, then untucking our chin, arching, knees to the floor. As you go with your knees to the floor, try not to put too much weight. If it feels a little bit robotic, that's okay. If you can find some softness in it, even better. Let's do one more rep each. And come past. Beautiful. Then from that position, you're gently gonna put some weight in your hands, tuck your toes, push into your squat, and then from there, from the squat, go all the way up in downward dog. And then from this position, put your hands on the floor, put some more weight in your hands, tuck your toes, push first in the squat, and then from the squat, lift your hips up. So you're gonna go in forward fold. As always, if you have tight hamstrings, be free to bend your knees as much as you need to. And I wanna really relax my head, relax my shoulders. I'm just gonna spend a few moments here, observing, noticing my breath. After a few moments, you can start, if it feels okay, to gently sort of sway from side to side. Your arms are sort of following with a slight delay. You can also hold your elbows, still keeping the shoulders and your neck muscles, your upper back relaxed. Then after a few moments, come to a stop, bend your knees even more if you must, and then slowly, segment by segment, very slowly, like in slow motion, rolling your spine all the way up in a standing position. Beautiful. Lovely. We sort of started on the floor, and now we're gonna, towards the end, we're gonna finish with the drill in the standing position. But first, before we do the actual drill, which is made out of two parts, I'm going to show you part number one. Part number one consists of spine rotation and your arm motion. So just think about this. If you ever did martial arts, you probably did something similar. So think about bow and arrow. So notice how one arm extends, one arm bends, how you create these opposite forces of opposition. Okay, so think about doing that motion a couple of times. Both feet being grounded on the floor. So one arm reaches forward, one arm reaches back. I'm trying not to shrug my shoulders, I'm driving my shoulders down. Keeping it very light for now. Notice how I'm going from side to side. One arm reaching forward, one arm reaching back. Forward and back. Qualities that we're trying to bring here are sort of, you're doing this similar pattern as you go from side to side. And what I also want to have, my arms primarily, palms among my hands facing upwards. So notice this. As I'm pulling, my hands are facing up, this arm is up as well. As I'm going from side to side. So one side, and then as I'm going to the right side, my left arm is here. Notice the rotation. Try to keep it light. Relax your elbows. Think about your jaw. We don't want to have too much tension here. Beautiful. So hopefully, sort of everyone managed to get this pattern. Think about this, almost like you're underwater. That's the quality. Being underwater or in a sort of weightless condition, like there's no gravity. If you ever experience that. So the second part of the motion, we're gonna go wider with our feet. We're gonna try to go in horse stance, so be mindful of that. Maybe you're very comfortable going in super deep, wide stance, horse stance, or maybe you want to be closer with your feet and then just lowering your hips down a little bit. That's perfectly fine. So you want to go as wide as you can while being still comfortable. Think about if you can't go deeper, arching your lower back a little bit, leaning forward, but still try to have this nice and stable position. Always try to add a little bit of balance, just to have your center of mass, your axis, nice and stable. Okay, so you're almost like you're ready here, ready for action, but still keeping it relaxed. So what we're gonna do now here in this position, we're gonna start adding our pattern. I'm keeping my feet grounded, noticing the twist in my hips as well. Starting softly, slowly. And also notice as you do this pattern with your upper body, your shoulders and your spine, how your legs also react. So there's no disconnection. So as I'm going towards one side, to the weight shifting from side to side. Keep your breathing relaxed, and let's give it a go. How far can you go in each direction while keeping it relaxed? Keeping the center of mass. Bow and arrow. Keeping the qualities. Rotating, twisting, finding efficiency. And now we're going to transition doing the same thing, but just being in front. So as I go with one arm, notice my hips sort of trolling up and down. Keep going. A few more reps. Synchronize with the breath. Seeking for connection. And fading out. Shuffle your feet back. Standing position, comfortable standing position. We're just gonna finish with a little bit of shake here. So feet relaxed, knees relaxed. Start bouncing through your knees. Gently, softly, upper body reacting. Always like to add some deep inhalations through my nose. You can go from side to side if you wish. Keeping your feet still grounded, keeping you relaxed, keeping your jaw relaxed, keeping your shoulders relaxed. Everything above is simply reacting to what's happening underneath. You can even go in the mini forward fold. And you can also go from side to side, keeping your arms relaxed. and fade out. Beautiful. You're gonna roll your spine all the way down. You're gonna go down on the floor. You're gonna make this seated, supported position. Think about straightening your legs and just doing this motion from your hips. So as you're trying to go with your feet, very relaxed, in and out, in and out. So to the left or in, and then outside. Noticing how the rest of the structures like quads, hamstrings, calves, simply reacting to that. Perhaps bending your knees as well, and then just shaking left and right. Beautiful. And then we're just going to finish with this. Just bringing some awareness and love to our feet. So if you're barefoot, a little bit better. So think about spreading your toes and putting your hands, your fingers in between each toe. So crossing the one leg just above your knee. Ankle is sort of free, but you can stabilize it with one of your hands. And just do a few circular motions in one direction, keeping it very soft. And another side, other direction. You can spend a little bit longer here if you wish. You're gonna move on, so same thing other side. So first start with one direction. And then a few reps out of direction. And come to a stop. Beautiful. I don't know about you, but I really enjoyed this session. I really sort of wanted to do something sort of being closer to the floor, as doing sort of floor work is one of my big loves. So I really enjoyed that practice. So thank you so much for joining. As always, any feedback is more than welcome. So far, if you're following this channel, I really I appreciate your support, and if you wish, you can always support my channel by just giving small donation on no matter how small, to buy me a coffee, which is the link for that website is going to be in the description of the video, but no pressure whatsoever. I know times are tough. So thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed the rest of the day or the evening, and see you on the next session. Take care.